question with regards to the OPRA requests and the legal aspect of that, because that's obviously a disproportionate amount of the legal bill. So while I know there's often a lot of OPRA requests, is there any thoughts about how to satisfy those without going through the lawyers? Or without, like, I guess I'm trying to figure out, that's a big number, again, disproportionate to the overall bill. So how do we address that? How do we tame that?
Mrs. Chanley, do you want to speak to that?
Certainly.
Is there any way,
Well,
besides Nadia having OPRA requests?
in the abundance that we have them. What we did, we started to have conversations about having someone who maybe can get more extensive training, and perhaps it would be appropriate to have a position in the central office that would also pick up some other areas. It was a conversation that we did have in personnel. For example, one of the things that Mr. Tague and I spoke of when we met together was a particular area in the building use. Building use was under a different secretary's position that was never replaced. That position was just became defunct. So salary-wise, it was originally in the budget. They did not replace that position. Another individual was taking it over when we had a retirement. Mr. Tague then hired his secretary, and his particular secretary, in addition to her responsibilities, picked up that responsibility. So we started to look to be smart, that if we were going to utilize, we wouldn't just hire an OPRA secretary, although I have to say many districts do have them. I've actually gone online to look. Perhaps maybe a secretary that could then pick up the building use, especially with the increase and influx of the utilization of the buildings. Perhaps that area, as well as the area of manning the front, for lack of a better term. People now stop what they're doing, as they should, to answer the door and answer the phones. And then in addition, it would be OPRA. We then started to have conversations that we would reach out to NJPSA to see if perhaps, because we do work with one of the attorneys there, Mr. David Nash, to see if there's more extensive training. I think one of the reasons that we've had more utilization of the attorney is because we want to make sure we're transparent. We want to make sure that there's no denial that there should not be. We want to make sure we're doing everything legally right to protect the Board of Education and protect the school district. And what has happened is the plethora and the overabundance of that, what there has been, has led, and I think Mrs. Zelensky's done a great job, but it's led her to err more on the side of caution by going to the attorney. So if we had someone perhaps that can get even more extensive training, I mean, it would be wonderful if there was someone out there that perhaps was a retired paralegal, just for example, that wanted an additional job. But these are the kind of things we did discuss this in personnel.
So it's your confidential secretary? Currently, that is doing the OPRA request, and she's had training?
Yes, but not the, I mean, you're
Right.
right. You know, we all have training,
Right.
but there is a difference between training and then extensive training.
Right.
And it has become to a point where she's not able to do her first responsibility of her job due to the extensive amount of time, even though she does it above and beyond.
Okay. All right, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Moore?